I'm going to be doing my first PC build from scratch. So I've got my case. Hi everyone, my name is Amanze, and this is another video of me finally building my first rig. So I've been watching Linus TechTips for over 5 years, and I've always wondered, when will I build my first system? So instead of more or less waiting till the day I would make my first system, I bought a desktop in 2017 when it was on offer. I think it was around $650. So this is the machine, and this machine has served me for 2 to 3 years, and it worked well. It came with a GTX 1060 3 gig and an Intel Core i5 7400, 8 gig of RAM, but in some cases it started chugging. So I bought an SSD, and I also bought 16 gig of RAM to add to this machine, and it was good for a time, but I noticed it bottlenecked. The CPU itself bottlenecked. I wanted to upgrade the CPU, but I couldn't. You can still get this PC in Amazon, but the newer version. But so far it served me, but the CPU was very weak. Whenever I game, whenever I do anything that is CPU intensive, it starts chugging and breaking frames, or sometimes it won't work at all. But in most cases it did its job, but I wanted to upgrade. I tried upgrading to a newer version of the Intel CPUs. I tried looking at the 8th generation. The performance increase was poor. Looked at the 9th generation. The performance increase for the price was too bad. So I looked into the Ryzen 2. It was good, but Ryzen 3 was already there. So I opted for the Ryzen. So I bought the Ryzen 3900X after deliberating between the 3700X and the 3800X, but finally I settled on the 3900X. I don't know why I just skipped the 2 that was on my list, because I was originally supposed to buy a pre-made system. But there's something about me, when I want to do something and I don't do it and I keep skipping, my heart will always be towards that thing. So I've always wanted to build my own system, so I just used the opportunity to, instead of getting a pre-made system, I just chose to just buy the components that are missing and take the remaining from my existing system. So I bought my Ryzen CPU. I bought a NZXT Kraken water cooler, 240mm, and I also bought an X570 motherboard for the Ryzen 9. And finally I bought a I bought a Seasonic 850 watt power supply. Then the case, I bought that case also, the Corsair 175R. So it was around $69 or so, compared to what I would have bought it here in Nigeria. Not necessarily this same case, but cases similar to it would have cost me up to 90,000 naira to 120,000 naira, and that was at that time, like should I say, $300 to $400. So imagine paying for a case for just $400. So I chose, instead for me to use that money to buy a case, I rather use that money to ship my other components. So I got all this from Amazon and I shipped it using a warehouse service. My packages got held up because of the COVID-19, but finally they are here, and I was able to build my system, which is this dark guy there. I want to say a big thank you to Linus TechTips for their content. It's more or less helped me to be motivated to actually try this out. I've worked with building, or rather repairing laptops in the past when I was a little younger during my industrial training, but I never built a computer from scratch. I have removed components and all, but this was my first time actually building a computer from scratch, putting the motherboard and working on it and then finishing it. So if it wasn't for like you guys making PC building wonderful, I probably wouldn't have tried it. But for now, I have a very powerful machine that can do almost anything. I will be upgrading my GPU someday, but for now, until when Nvidia releases their new GPU or AMD, I think I'll wait for now. My GPU is good enough for what I'm using it for, and it is good. So I will be showing you more of my build, and yeah, it's looking nice. After dismantling my case, I finally found which particular screw to use for my motherboard. So I'm going off documentation here, and I will be referencing some videos, but it's my first time. It's very scary. So this is the motherboard already fixed, rather one screw fixed. About 5 more to go. I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 to go. So wish me luck. So these are my final result. Please rate my cable management. This is for the front panel. So I added 2 different fans. I added this one, and I added the one below it. The top one came with a case, and it is RGB. So you have to have a RGB header on your motherboard to fix that in. So I tried opening my PCIe Gen 4 slot, the M.2 slot, but I didn't have the right screwdriver for that, so I didn't want to spoil the screw head. I'll go get a better screwdriver for that. So this is the GPU that came with my other computer, the GTX 1060 3GB. It looks ugly, but it does the job. It's very good with 1080p gaming and video rendering. And this is the last fan I got. I got a 3-bundle Corsair fan. It's very quiet. I don't know if you can hear it. Wow, the airflow is, everything goes in, but this one takes everything out. This is my exhaust fan. If you have a better way of doing the exhaust, because these ones are intakes and exhaust. So the top intakes are attached to my AIO cooler, my AIO water cooler, the NZXT. Nice optical illusion there. I have my 2 sticks of DDR4 RAM, 16 gigs together, and so far I'm happy with the way everything turned out to be. And yeah, that's the fan for the chipset, and that is where I'm plugging my SSD for now until I can open the PCIe 4 slot. And so far everything is working fine, all the parts are working. Yeah, it's wonderful. A more better view from afar. So this case is very spacious. It's very good. There are holes for cable management where you can put your cable and route it to the back and reduce the clutter. It has its own, rather my motherboard has its own LED, so that's not part of the case. Sorry about that. But nonetheless, the case is it's very good. very good routing, very good everything. I'm not Dimitri from Hardware Canucks, so I can't really rate this thing as rigorous as he can. If you want to check out good case review, just check out Hardware Canucks and you will have a fun time watching a video that's supposed to be boring. They somehow make case reviews interesting. So the case has its own top mesh. There is a top mesh on top. Helps you cover your work. So these are the screws for my AIO cooler. My only problem with the case is whenever these screws are here, if I close it down, it doesn't sit flush. It's not flush, so I have to overlap it to cover this blemish. But this will be an issue for me later in the future because this is an avenue for dust to enter into the system. So hopefully I don't clean this system too rigorously because of my environment here is very dusty. I can leave this place now in 1 second, everything will be dusty again. I don't know the source of our dust. I'm guessing it's just the environment. I stay in Lagos and this is Surulere, and you can have that issue here. It's very dusty here, although we don't have a desert close to this part of the world, but it is very dusty. I don't think the IO will make any difference, but yeah. So this is the final spot, the other part of the case for cable management. So you just open these thumb screws here and you pull, then you will see where you can do your cable management. So I tried my best to use zip ties to keep my cables intact, but I don't know, it's my first time. Have mercy. So I was able to put my SSD, my other small 2.5 inch hard disk, and my 3.5, is it inch or millimeters? I think it's inch. 3.5 inch drive also is also below there. The SATA cables, and also these cables are the cables for the AIO's fans. So we are using the 3-pin connectors, but nonetheless, please rate my cable management. Is it horrible? Is it wonderful? Is it chaotic? Nonetheless. So if you guys love this video, please leave me a like, share it to your friends, and subscribe if you want to see more of my videos in the future. Until next time, take care.